In this video, we cover Google Cloud applications with a particular focus on the authentication methods. We'll look at Google Cloud Storage, which uses the same agent package as AWS S3. GCS has a single authentication mechanism, the Google Cloud Service Account Key, while AWS has 4. We'll move on to workflow management. Cloud technologies include solutions that provide the ability to execute certain types of jobs called DAGs, which can be externalized to Automic for orchestration purposes. Google Cloud Composer relies on the Airflow baseline technology and operates the same way. It uses the service account key as well as workload identity. Airflow uses other methods, basic authentication, and externalized OAuth 2 servers. BigQuery has the service account key, and so this will be short. The Google Service Account Key, which applies to Storage, Composer, and BigQuery, enables access control and is set centrally in the Google Cloud Platform, specifically in the Identity Access Management or IAM admin functions. Service accounts are comparable to user accounts. Each service account is granted a set of permissions defined as roles for a given application. A GCS role differs from Cloud Composer or BigQuery. One of those roles is the right to work with GCS buckets. As long as processes are submitted in GCS under that service account, they will execute. You should also set expiration so as to ensure that operations aren't interrupted. For each service account, we have the option of downloading a key. The service account needs certain roles and permissions to execute and retrieve logs. This produces a file in the JSON format. You copy the key file to the GCS agent host in a directory of your choice. When you define the con object, you select service account key and reference the key name and path on the agent host. If for any reason you're not able to store the key on the agent host, you can copy the contents of the file and store them as JSON text in the box. Airflow includes a basic user management system with a user and password. This is typically handled by Airflow administrators directly in the Airflow homepage. Enter the information in the form. OAuth 2 is an authentication protocol used by a variety of organizations like Google Cloud Platform, GitHub, and SSO companies like Okta. Each organization maintains its own approach, but with little variation. You set up the infrastructure, identified externally by an endpoint URL. Within the system, you set up accounts called clients with secrets and a scope, which defines the perimeter of access and the client's privileges. When the client attempts to authenticate with a resource, they connect to the authentication platform via the URL, and if they're authorized, the system issues a token which enables access to the resource. And so for this method, you'll need the OAuth 2 endpoint URL, the client ID, the client secret and scope, which are controlled by the provider, GCP, GitHub, and so on. For GCC, we have 2 methods. The first is the Google Service Account Key, which we've already covered. The second is workload identity. This assumes that your automation engine is Kubernetes Edition, or AAKE, and the GCC integration agent is running in Google Kubernetes Engine. The entire authentication mechanism is set up in K8s, resource, secret, and so forth, and then administrators simply enable workload identity in GCP. K8s authorizes third-party requests for authentication and then releases access tokens accordingly. You just need the information from the Kubernetes administrator. There's nothing else to do.